Raphael, man, talk to me. Wrestling again.
Yes, sir.
So talk about your tournament. You said you won it, and the guy won't wrestle you in the final.
Well, it was a round-robin situation, and the guy that had beat him pretty bad the previous round, I knocked out the guy in the finals, Rich Mahansky from PA. I beat him 8-0 before the doctor pulled the match due to where he banged his head on the last takedown. So I was waiting around. I think we were the last match in the round, and we waited and waited and waited. And finally, my coach went over to the master head table, and sure enough, the guy had forfeited out. So I guess I won the title by default.
Well, but you had to wrestle to get to there, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are such a passionate wrestling guy, right?
Yes, I am.
Now, talk about the desire to compete, which is different than coaching, which you do a lot of as well.
Sure. Gary, I've always felt like the Lord did so much for me in my life. I had never given him a national title. I failed to do that the initial year of the Division III Nationals in Wilkes College. And it just stayed in my craw for 30, 40 years. And when you had the world team, it was the world tournament in Auburn right before COVID, I was surprised that they had an event like that in the States, so I started checking into it. And then I got encouragement from my fellow coaches and fellow students that I should give it a shot. A couple guys said I could win it coming off the couch, which I thought was nice, but I knew that was only in theory, that I'd have to put my work in. So I'm a strong believer in Christ. I believe that you can do all things through Christ who strengtheneth you. So I don't want to call it I'm putting the Lord to the test, because I know he's faithful, but I just felt like I needed to show myself that he's strong on your behalf if you trust him. So that's what my journey has been. I won the National Open here last year against Shirzad Amani, who was the defending champ.
Oh yeah, a multiple world champion.
Yes, sir. I tech-fought him inside of a minute. And I felt pretty good about my chances at doing a world title in the veterans division. And I also won in Poland. I beat the world Greco champ. I tech-fought him before the first period was over. So I felt like I had a good run, and I needed to re-up again this year and stay current and stay visible and stay visible so that I could give more glory to the Lord. And he showed himself strong on me on my behalf once again.
Now, does competing help you be a better coach? Because I've always seen you around coaching kids, really high-level kids too, right?
Yes, sir. Team Ohio.
How does it kind of help each other?
Well, it helps because I know the mindset, I know the changes that they go through, and I'm able to connect on a personal level, because it's one thing to blow the whistle, it's another thing to strap them on and get busy with the kids. I think most kids know if you're in the corner or not. You can't fool them. So I believe if I sell out, then they'll sell out. I came from old school coaching, and you've heard the old term, you run through a wall for an old school coach, and I feel like the proteges that I've had feel the same way about me. So I just feel like I honor them by staying a student of the game, and they're more receptive because I'm still active.
So you talk about some of the people that impacted you. What kind of coaches were role models for you as a coach?
I have to say Bobby Douglas is my surrogate uncle, and his teammate Walter Larchek, they were on the championship team at Bridgeport that took out Maple Heights back in, I'm going to say the 60s, early 60s. And Walt was an old school coach, Coach Kovalik, George Kovalik of the Bridgeport area, coached him from a book, and he was also an all-star football player. So it was a mixture of two sports by book-read coaches and old school coaches that demanded respect. They were very high on their technique, obviously, with Bobby being in the picture, and they both conceded that if I didn't wrestle, I was going to get my butt kicked. So when Walt told Bobby about me, he said, get him going, and I was able to work with the North Canton Hoover Vikings, who were like #2 in the state to Howard Ferguson's St. Ed Eagles, and I was able to get excellent technique. I had to pay the price just like I was a Hoover Viking, But Coach Solarczyk, I love him. He gave me every chance in the world to gain knowledge fairly and equally, and he had a very big hand on how well I did in my career.
So you must know a ton of the people in this tournament. Is it fun coming back and outside of wrestling, seeing all the wrestling guys from around the country?
Yes, sir, it is. You know, we're all passionate about the sport. We're all passionate about helping kids. USA Wrestling does a superb job on giving us first-class opportunities to show our skills, to compete at a high level, to watch the youngsters of the future coming through. It's such a joy to see how the technique just keeps to climb and climb. And you know, it's a wonderful experience. It's a never-ending experience, and it's something you never get used to. And I'm very honored to be a part of the USA organization.
Well, my friend, it's always fun chatting with you. We see each other around the country.
Yes, sir.
I kind of like it when you're out there wrestling. It's just gives us a perspective of just what the sport's about, right?
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Gary.
Much,